he discovered he had a strange superpower. In his eyes, all sorts of punctuation marks floated above his classmates' heads. When the teacher asked a question mark would appear over students who didn't know the answer, while those who did would have an exclamation mark. But he never imagined this ability would cause him so much trouble. One day, he noticed his deskmate had changed her shampoo. The scent caught his attention, and he couldn't help asking what brand it was. The next second, a swarm of black symbols erupted above her head. Jack realized he'd messed up and quickly apologized. But after that day, his deskmate never came back to school. A few days later, Anne suddenly approached Jack and asked if he noticed anything different about her today. Above Anne's head floated a huge exclamation mark. Clearly, she was expecting a certain answer. Beside her, George had a question mark, meaning he didn't get why she was asking. Jack already had a hunch what this was about, but remembering what happened a few days ago, he deliberately said he hadn't noticed anything, and looked disappointed. Her exclamation mark quickly turned into an ellipsis, its color shifting to orange, a mix of disappointment and frustration. But the next day, she came to Jack again and asked the same question. Jack still didn't know how to answer. Sure enough, the ellipsis appeared above Anne's head again, but this time, when she looked at him, there was anxiety in her eyes. Truth was, Jack had noticed yesterday that Anne changed her shampoo too. He just didn't have the courage to say anything, until one day, they ran into each other on the street. They both struggled to find something to talk about. Jack saw the ellipsis above Anne's head and knew she felt awkward, so he deliberately asked if anything interesting had happened lately. To his surprise, that topic actually got Anne interested. Jack seized the moment and asked if she'd recently changed her shampoo. Suddenly, an enormous exclamation mark exploded above her head. Excitedly, she dragged him to the stairwell to keep talking. When Jack carefully asked if she used the same shampoo as his deskmate, Anne was instantly surrounded by exclamation marks of all sizes. That's when Jack finally understood. That day, when he asked his deskmate if she'd changed her shampoo, she thought he was mocking her, saying she didn't deserve to use that brand. That's why she stopped coming to school. The reason Anne kept approaching Jack was because she wanted to help clear up the misunderstanding. Through all this, Jack realized Anne was someone truly special, and without even realizing it, he had fallen for her gentleness and sincerity. What he didn't know was that Anne also had a strange ability. She could see a scale hanging over everyone's chest. If the scale tilted toward the plus sign, it meant things were going well, or that person had feelings for someone. If it tilted toward the minus sign, it meant the opposite. One day during rehearsal, Anne saw Jack get hurt and quickly put a band-aid on him. That's when she noticed. The scale over Jack's chest was swinging wildly. Before she could figure out what that meant, Emily walked over to them and noticed both Jack and Emily's scales were tilting toward the plus side. It suddenly clicked. Those two probably liked each other. The day of the performance arrived, and was extremely nervous before going on stage. Then someone took her hand and gently said, "Good luck." She noticed that person had a band-aid on their hand, and when the lights came on, she caught a glimpse of Jack. He was the one silently supporting her. After the performance, Anne went to find Jack to thank him, but to her surprise, their conversation didn't line up. Jack hadn't held her hand at all. Then she noticed her friend Jenny also had a band-aid on her hand. That's when Anne realized. Jenny was the one who encouraged her. Jenny knew and had a crush on Jack, so she deliberately put on a band-aid, hoping it would give courage, and was deeply touched. But Jenny's scale kept spinning like a fan, so Anne couldn't tell what she was thinking. What she didn't know was that Jenny also had a strange ability. She could see how fast people's hearts were beating.